technical charts. Let's get going with all the stocks then. Ravinder, let me come to you. You picked out Ultratech Cement for us. Tell us why have you picked out this stock? The stock is up in a way 1.5% in trade. What's the news flow?
Well, as stock is up more than 1.5%, and the reason behind that is the company has announced commissioning of the second cement grinding mill with a capacity of 1.8 MTPA at the company's unit located in Madhya Pradesh, and with this the company's consolidated domestic grade cement capacity stand at 186.86 MTPA along with its overseas capacity of 5.4 MTPA, and the company's global cement capacity stand at 192.26 MTPA. So back of this, Ultratech Cement is in focus and the stock is holding a gain of 1.5%.
Alright, moving on to the next counter, that is Chola Finance. Aditya, tell us for Chola Finance, this counter has been gaining momentum in the last 5 days. It is trading up almost 6%. From here on, do you see this positive momentum to continue?
Yes, Ankita, I think this momentum is likely to continue in the near term. I think stock can test easily levels of 1750, which happens to be the upper end of the ascending triangle pattern neckline. And once it breaks out of that hurdle of 1700, 1750, I think stock is poised to test levels of 1900 on the upside. RSI 2 is suggesting bullish momentum. So this up move is likely to continue in Chola and Shriram Finance both. But for me, I picked Chola Finance. It looks slightly better than Shriram at this moment.
Right, Chola Finance looks better than Shriram Finance. But with that, let's move on to the next counter. Coforge, you picked out, Ravinder. It is buzzing on the back of a brokerage note. Tell us what are the details of this brokerage note?
Well, Kotak Institutional Equities has come out with a note and they have maintained the buy rating, but they have hiked target price to rupees 2,100 as compared to earlier target price of rupees 1,800. They say that the Coforge is well set on an industry-leading growth path, and they have raised FY26-28 revenue and EPS by 2 to 3% and 4 to 10% respectively. They forecast the organic CC revenue growth of 22.6% in FY26. Motilal said that the Coforge business has scaled to the current level through a focused approach of 3 verticals and a few chosen geographies. So back of this, Coforge is in focus and the stock is holding a gain of approximately 1.5%.
Alright, so Coforge on the back of that brokerage note. But Aditya, let me come to you. You picked out Hindustan Petroleum for us on the charts. Tell us what you see on the charts for this counter.
It's a fresh breakout, Ankita, from an bullish head and shoulders pattern. And if you take a look at the volumes of the last 2 trading sessions, it's quite healthy and encouraging to see this kind of volume in the breakout, which tells me that this up move, the breakout is likely to continue. The up move following the breakout is likely to continue. So you could see levels of 450 to about 465 on the upside with a good support on the downside at 430. So maybe place a stop loss somewhere just below 430 odd levels, closer to about 425, 426. And look for a target of at least 450 to 465 on the upside. And like I mentioned, volumes are pretty healthy. So it tells me that in next week, you will see good up move in the HPCL stock to continue.
Good momentum to see in the next week for HPCL. But moving on to the next counter, that is United Spirits, that is in focus as it has acquired 97% stake in NAO Spirits with plans to reach full ownership by June 2026. Now, the total investment stands at 109 crore rupees, including the share purchase and new equity infusion. In the back of this acquisition, United Spirits is trading with gains of 0.4%. It has given up those morning gains, but nonetheless, it's holding out in the green with gains of 0.4%. But Aditya, let me come to you for another consumption name. You picked up Nestle for us. Tell us, what do you see on the chart for Nestle?
So Ankita, I think it's time for these stocks to show some kind of an up move. FMCG has been completely beaten down, rather not participated in the rally as we're moving closer to all-time high. I think it's time for FMCG stocks to participate. Nestle being one of their favorite picks within that pack, and it has taken support at the 200 DMA recently. Also happens to be a bullish crossover that I see between 50 DMA and 200 DMA on Nestle. So that tells me that there is strong up move that can follow through following this bullish crossover in the near term. On the upside, I think stock is poised to test levels of 2250 or 2600 on the upside with a good support on the downside at 2400. So place a stop loss just below 2400 and look for a target of 2550 to about 2600 on the upside for the near term. I think stock is poised to test higher levels.
Right. Nestle poised to touch higher levels, and time for FMCG pack to start moving up now. But coming to you, Ravinder, one from the IT pack, HCL Tech you've picked out for us. Tell us what's the news flow here.
Well, as HCLTech has announced the launch of its orchestration, consultation, and implementation service designed to accelerate enterprise adoption of Salesforce Agentforce across various industries, including financial services, healthcare, retail, and manufacturing, helping them into transform into AI-augmented enterprise. With the consulting-led approach, HCLTech supports rapid adoption of enterprise-grade agentic workflow that unify task orchestration, reasoning, and action execution across systems, streamlining marketing, sales, services, and operation in the highly regulated environment. So, back of this, HCLTech is in focus.
All right, moving on to the next counter, that is Power Grid. Power Grid is trading with gains of more than 1.5%. Of course, it's in the back of the fact that they have given an order to Hitachi Energy. That's why it's in focus on the back of the news flow. But on the charts, Aditya, what do you see for this counter?
So the stock took support at 50% retracement in the recent throwback, and from there we've seen a breakout from a falling channel. So it's a classic technical setup where the stock cools off after a good up move, and then we witness a fresh breakout. Though I don't see volumes in the stock yet. But I think in next week you should see a follow-through volume as well. On the upside, I think once stock starts to trade beyond 304 levels, it will test levels of 320 to about 330 on the upside. But even at current levels, I'll be a buyer in the stock and add on to the position above 304 and look for a target of 320, 330 on the upside. On the downside, 290 is a strong support area. Plus, if I plot a RSI, it did take support at the lower end of the bull zone, and from there it's turned up. So that tells me that the bullishness is still intact in the stock, and this breakout that we have witnessed in trade today from a falling channel will take the stock higher in the coming trading sessions.
All right, that was the last talk for the day. Rabinder and Aditya, thank you so much for joining us on Market Fatafat.